the most powerful man in Europe, yet you're slowly starving to death in a palace full of food and meat. This is Charles II of Spain, and his family did this to him deliberately. I'm Carl. This is Hairy History. What the Habsburgs did to this man, to their own blood, over 6 generations, is one of the most deliberate acts of self-destruction in all of history. Now, to understand the wreck that was Charles, you have to understand the rot in the roots. Nature likes a mix. It likes new blood to stay strong. But for the Habsburgs, new was a dirty word. For 6 centuries, they treated their family tree like a private members club. Uncles married niece, cousins married cousins, and basically that meant your great-grandmother on your father's line was also your great-great-grandmother from your mother's line. Both lines track back to the same person. Philip I of Castile appears 14 times in Charles II's ancestry. That was the horror of it. Every human carries flaws in their blood, tiny, dormant glitches that usually stay buried because they need the match to wake up. In regular families, those matches are rare, but when you're marrying your own reflection, those glitches don't stay hidden. They become your inheritance. The Habsburg Jaw, that jutting, heavy bone, wasn't just a family trait, it was a warning sign. By studying 66 royal portraits, we can see that jawline growing, stretching, warping with every generation. They weren't just passing down crowns, they were tightening the genetic noose. Charles II of Spain was born in 1661. He was the last in the line, the final broken product of 150 years biological arrogance. If you want to measure how pure his blood was, consider this. He was more inbred than the child of a brother and sister. His family tree didn't branch, it just looped the same 5 or 6 names, looping back on themselves, time after time. By the time Charles was born, it was time to pay the piper. The bill was due. His jaw protruded so far his teeth couldn't touch. He spent his life swallowing food like a snake because he couldn't grind a single bite. He drooled through meetings with foreign kings. He lived in a fog of seizures and constant screaming pain that no doctor could touch. His body was failing him from the inside out. His organs were malformed. His growth was stunted. He was infertile, and he knew it. The whole world knew it. And when he finally died at 38, the autopsy report read like a horror novel. It claimed his heart was the size of a peppercorn. His guts were black with decay. The autopsy described the deterioration as total. Every organ, every system failing all at once. Now, I have to be realistic about this, because I'm sure someone will mention it, and you'd be right too. A heart the size of a peppercorn sounds a little implausible. You see, the physician that compiled that report was French, and in the 1700s, the French had a direct political stake in how the Spanish looked to the rest of Europe. King, described as physically monstrous, mentally collapsed, barely human, that was useful. It humiliated a rival empire just at the time when they were wondering what became of their throne. Does that really mean that the report was fabricated? Not necessarily, but you should read it knowing that the man who wrote it had every reason to reach for the most horrible, unbelievable words. But the inbreeding data, that doesn't need his testimony. The jaw, the infertility, the seizures, the maths, those numbers make the same case without him. The Spanish called him, excuse my pronunciation, El Hechizado, the bewitched. They thought a demon had cursed him. He was cursed, all right, but not by demons, by his grandfather. And here, in my opinion, is the most disgusting part of it. The Habsburgs weren't stupid. They saw babies being born with twisted limbs. They saw the mothers dying in pools of blood at twice the rate of any other noble family. They saw the stillbirths and the children who withered before they could walk. 80% of their marriages were between close kin. Every single one of them required special permission from the Pope, and every single time, the Pope signed the paper. By the mid-1600s, the palace doctors were filing their reports. They saw the pattern. They documented the failures. And the Habsburgs sat in their gold chairs. They read their reports. They saw their cousins dying in labour, and they just arranged the next wedding. You see, the Habsburgs didn't do this because they were ignorant. They did it because they were greedy and selfish. Keep the titles in the family. Keep the land in the family. Keep the power in the blood. Purity was their religion, and a jaw was just the price they had to pay. They looked at Charles, a man who couldn't speak, couldn't eat, and couldn't father an heir, and they decided he was worth it. One of the most powerful families in European history didn't fall to a cannonball or to a guillotine. It fell because it couldn't stop eating itself. The Habsburgs destroyed themselves one signature at a time. But if you think a ruined bloodline is scary, wait until you see what happens when a government tries to rewrite the human mind. The CIA spent 20 years and millions of dollars trying to rewrite who people were. Most of these files were destroyed, but one clerk made a mistake that changed everything. That story is here. Go and check it out. This has been Hairy History. Subscribe for more.